Hey guys, I am with the all-new 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona Coupe, and let's remote start it because it's loud. Just have a listen to that. This is the 2025 Daytona Scat Pack. So this is what you really are going to be getting now. As we know, the 6-pack versions are coming soon. The inline 6s were ludicrous here. And let's take it on a first impressions drive. I literally just got it for the week of full testing. I think it looks pretty nice. It's an interestingly configured one though, for sure. But let's hop inside and see what we're dealing with. Hopping inside, massive door here. We have the demon red style interior. Remote starts on, so all the air is blasting on us. But this is the all new interior of the new Dodge Charger, and how I like to look at this is just the beginning of a full lineup of a model here. 2 digital clusters here. We have a heads-up display in this one, big panoramic glass roof that's fixed. I think the seats are fantastic, actually, really comfortable. This pistol style gear selector here, which is pretty interesting. Drive mode selector. It's a very interesting looking steering wheel as well. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in here, but let's head out on a drive on our first impressions and see what we're working with here. We also do have Apple CarPlay as well in the new Charger Daytona. So we have a few different drive modes I've learned over the course of this week as well. So we have auto, drag, track, sport, wet, and custom, and all of them actually can be customized as well. And since we have the Sonic exhaust system, which is honestly way cooler than I thought it was going to be, it's still pretty gimmicky, but I actually think it's kind of cool. You have a different adjustments in each drive mode. So each drive mode, it gets louder, and yeah, you hear it on the inside, but it is absolutely ridiculously loud outside. It is so loud I could hear it down like a full mile of a block. It's, I mean, maybe not a mile, but I'm just trying to say it's really loud. I'm pretty sure it's either as loud or louder than the Challenger Hellcat's exhaust was, like the full-on Red Eye or even the Demon or something. It was really crazy numbers here, but have a listen to it right now. I'm gonna put the windows down because it's, like I said, you can hear it outside. Hear it in sport now. So it gets louder on deceleration. You also have the sound track. Now it's a constant loud humming. I mean, it feels like there's an exhaust under the vehicle. And then in drag, it gets even louder. It actually gets so loud in these modes that it starts droning. The speakers start vibrating throughout the car. Some of the panels start vibrating. It's genuinely kind of hilarious how loud it is actually in some of these modes. But, you know, it's an EV. But this car is definitely interesting. The driving position's very, very high. I really don't actually like that at all. I feel like I really do feel like I'm sitting on top of this car, like completely on top of the entire car. I think it's just because of the battery pack under the floor. I'm very curious to see if the 6-pack models will have a lower driving position, but not too big of a fan of that. Surprisingly, it's very, very good visibility out of this car. So I can see literally all around me very well. The windows are huge, so that's not an issue whatsoever. Steering squircle wheel thing, not the biggest fan of this. It's unique. Honestly, you do get a little bit used to it, I'd say, but I don't see why they had to do this. I know this is all meant to, you know, make the screen better, but the screen's actually quite big. I think they could have still done with some sort of like regular steering wheel. It doesn't really feel bad, actually. There's cool buttons on here. We have a drive mode selector, the power shot extra boost button. All the controls are very familiar and logically laid out, I would say, to all other Stellantis group vehicles. So, you know, that's not an issue there, but it's definitely different, to say the least. Oh, and it is not short of power whatsoever. Well, guys, how is this all-new Dodge Charger Daytona like to drive? Well, it's definitely an interesting vehicle, to say the least. Well, it's definitely an interesting vehicle, to say the least. You know, coming from the long-lived Challenger and Charger before, there's nothing similar here whatsoever. It is a totally ground up new experience, and I think it's a little bit polarizing off this first bat just because they launched it as an EV, and I think that personally, if I was them, I think it's a little bit of a mistake. It's completely just alienating all of the customers that I think that love the muscle car, the engines, the loud big V8s. And yeah, there's no V8 anymore, but at least we know, it's fully confirmed, that we have those six-pack twin turbocharged. Those six-pack twin turbocharged inline sixes coming with really impressive power numbers, 500 plus horsepower, which I think is going to be really great. Will we see the return of a Hemi in this vehicle? There's some rumors and talk about it as of this filming right now, but nothing is confirmed at this point. But so right now we're going to have the EV and we're going to have the six packs. We're going to have 2 doors and 4 doors. I think Daytona is really going to say that this is an EV. It's going to be Charger. We have some new names coming for the six-pack models, so we haven't really fully determined all those trim levels yet, but those are going to get their own names, not Daytona. So I guess that'll be the best way to kind of differentiate between the two. But, you know, overall as a vehicle, it's also a lot bigger than it was before. At least in the coupe, the doors are just massive. This interior is huge. I feel like I'm in a big SUV. It's that big of a space in here. So yeah, in that front, I have a lot of room to move around. All the materials are actually quite squishy and soft where my arms want to rest. There's just not a lot of buttons anymore, and some things might be a little convoluted to find. Like all the headlight controls have kind of been like translated to this 3 buttons on the side over here. All the climate's now in this haptic touch panel up here. You know, this is Uconnect. It's pretty simple to navigate if you know your way around these vehicles. And you know, this one is interestingly spec'd at almost, I think, $80,000, and it doesn't have the packages that I think it should have. It just has the track package, the seat option, the sun and sound group, but it doesn't have the ambient lighting. It doesn't have folding power mirrors. It doesn't have a power trunk. It doesn't have the nice cool carbon / suede interior. It's missing some weird stuff that I think this one should have had for this price point. They should have baked it into this price point already. It's just already so expensive, but you're still getting crazy horsepower, like 670 horsepower. It feels powerful, and definitely in a straight line. Is it a handler though? I wouldn't say so. I think it's almost like a GT car now, if that's fair enough to say for this thing. I'm just gonna pop on our front sonic exhaust for sport. Have a little more some sound going on here, but it feels like a GT car, and in a good GT car, but it doesn't feel so much like a muscle car, other than in its really strong terms of power. You're losing that, you know, real engine sound. But as an EV, it makes up for losing that real engine sound with instant torque, acceleration, and this ridiculous Fredsonic exhaust system. Now, how I was told, it's so loud I don't have to talk over it in this particular mode. So let's just lower it for a second. Now, how this thing distributes its power is pretty much almost like a 50-50 split, I've been told. I think it's around 330 front and rear. So that's pretty interesting. They didn't decide to go with a rear wheel bias. And I don't believe you can do a full burnout in this particular car, though we do have lots of different pages and stuff in here. So there's a launch control button as well. There's some other performance pages as well. It's going to give you some other fun information like timers and stuff. So that's all there. That groundwork is there, but we've seen a lot of that already in previous Uconnect systems, in the Charger and Challenger, Red Hellcats and the Red Eyes and the Demons and all that stuff. So nothing radically new here, actually, which is, I guess, a little bit refreshing in terms of just a lot of the interface stuff. But the drive experience is really crazy, especially since this is an EV. But I'm very curious to get a hold of this with the 6-pack engine and the 8-speed ZF transmission. I think this is going to be a much better car and lighter. This particular one is like almost 6,000 pounds. So cut that battery pack weight away, and you know, just throw in the big engine with twin turbo boost, 550 horsepower. I heard it might only be all-wheel drive, but there may be a rear-wheel drive option possible down the future as well. I think that one's going to be a fun car to get. But you know, first impressions of this, it's really comfortable actually. Pretty quiet suspension with the track package and the adaptive dampers. is very, very comfortable actually, very usable around a daily basis. It's a lot of understeer, which is interesting, but I think that's just how this EV powertrain is set up a little bit. I'm gonna accelerate out here onto the highway for a second. Some nice Fretsonic exhaust sounds. One thing I wish they did though was, you know, kind of implement fake gears almost. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I experienced it in the Ioniq 5N and it's actually really good. So this is just like a CVT sound in a sense. It just keeps going. Oh, yeah, it's not slow, so don't underestimate this car whatsoever. It can still pack a serious punch, especially with all the instant torque. That's fast, guys. But out here on the highway, it actually has some more tricks up its sleeve that the previous generation Challenger and Charger could never have even imagined having. Okay guys, out here on the highway is honestly where I think the new Charger Daytona Coupe does really, really well for itself. It's so comfortable, and like I said, this is where I kind of consider it more of like a GT kind of car now, versus before. It's really comfortable. It like almost floats across bumps, but with this adaptive damper package, it's actually still pretty taut with the body control movements. Even with the incredible weight of this vehicle, they did a pretty good job with the tuning on this, so I have to give them some good credit there. I also don't hear any like wind buffeting or stuff going around us, so that's quite good as well. And one thing I will note though is that the steering is just so, I hate to say video gamey, but I can't think of another word to kind of describe it. It's pretty precise when you're actually at speed. Well, around town though, it's just very, very, very light. Not exactly what I was expecting in this car. It's almost like, you know, a big GT car. It's a little more comfort and I dare to say luxury focused than before. That might be pushing the boundaries just a little bit there. But it's really nice out here on the highway, and now it has full radar adaptive cruise control with pretty much full steering assist, and it's worked great in other Stellantis group products actually. So all I have to do is pop it on, ACC ready, set my speed, and I can put my full driving assistant on now as well. So that works actually quite nice. I can adjust my following distance as well, and if I actually go over to my driving assistance screen, if I can find it, there it is. If you squint really, really close and look up there, I believe that's an old Charger as the picture of the follow car in there. So that's pretty cool of a little note. So yeah, nice continuity of heritage there, Dodge. That's pretty cool. And also this hazard switch here is like the same kind of exact shape as the Fratzog logo they've reintroduced onto the front bumper as well as the rear trunk as well. So that is also a kind of cool touch. It's also really quiet in here. I think I mentioned that, but they did a good job at that. So yeah guys, good first impressions on this all new Charger Daytona. I will let you know at the end of the week how I fully wrap up my review of this vehicle, but so far so good. Is it as bad as I was expecting it to be? No. Is it as amazing? Or was I thinking it's going to be a little bit better? I was thinking it was going to be a little bit better than what a lot of the other reviews were saying. But I think it's a good foundation so far. So as I mentioned, I'll let you guys have a watch of this video, and I will let you know how I feel after the course of living with this thing for a week. Thanks for watching, and cheers.